40 people in that room. 40 people watching her tear me apart. And every single one of them believed her. She pointed at me, voice loud, confident, rehearsed. She called me a liar, a thief, someone who couldn't be trusted with anything. The room went quiet. Heads turned. I stood there alone and said nothing. Not because I had no answer, because I already had something better. In my pocket. Recording. The first sign came 3 weeks before everything exploded. We were in the conference room, just the four of us, me, Dana, Marcus, and Rachel. I had spent 6 days building the campaign pitch. Slides, data, a full content strategy. I walked them through every slide. Dana sat across from me, nodding, taking notes, asking detailed questions. Too detailed. The kind you only ask when you plan to present the work yourself. I noticed but said nothing. 2 days later, I walked past Dana's office. The door was half open. She was on the phone, speaking low. I caught 3 words before she looked up and stopped mid-sentence. Her original concept. She smiled at me through the glass. A wide, easy smile. Then she turned her chair away and lowered her voice to a whisper. I kept walking. At lunch, Marcus avoided eye contact. He talked the whole time about weekend plans, the weather, anything. But he never once mentioned the pitch. We had worked together for 2 years. He always asked about my projects. Always. The silence around it felt louder than anything he actually said. That evening, Rachel sent me a message. Short. Casual. You good? Seemed off today. Nothing else. No context. I typed back, all good. What? She left it on read. 3 people acting strange. Same week. Same silence closing in from every direction. I sat at my desk and stared at the presentation, file still open on my screen. My name was on the cover slide, but something told me it wouldn't stay there. The department meeting was on a Thursday. 30 people packed into the main conference room. Director Hall sat at the head of the table. Dana walked in 2 minutes late, laptop under her arm, completely calm. She plugged in. The projector lit up. My slides appeared on the screen. My structure, my data, my exact words, rearranged just enough to avoid a direct copy. But I knew every line. I had written them at midnight, alone, with cold coffee and 3 open browser tabs. And there they were, on a screen, with her name in the footer. Director Hall leaned forward. Dana, this is sharp. Where did the customer segmentation model come from? Dana smiled. I've been developing it over the last few weeks. I sat 4 seats away. My hands were flat on the table. Marcus glanced at me, then looked away. I raised my hand. Actually, Dana spoke over me without turning. The methodology is explained on slide 9. Director Hall nodded, already moving on. I lower my hand. After the meeting, in the hallway, I walked up to Dana directly. That was my work. Quiet, clear, no performance. She tilted her head. Excuse me. Not confused. Amused. The segmentation model. The content architecture. All of it. That was mine. She looked around. 3 colleagues nearby, pretending not to listen. Then she looked back at me and smiled. I don't know what you're talking about, but maybe you should be careful about the kind of accusations you make at work. She walked away. I stood in that hallway while people brushed past me. None of them stopped. I almost let it go. Then I checked the share drive. Every company document auto-saved with timestamps and edit history. I opened the campaign file. The original version, created 6 days before the meeting, had my login ID attached to every single edit. 43 individual changes. All mine. The file had been duplicated 3 days before the presentation. The copy was opened under Dana's credentials. 0 edits. She had taken a finished version and changed the footer. That was the first piece. The second came from a conversation I was never supposed to hear. I stayed late on a Friday. The floor was empty by 7. I was at my desk when I heard voices near the printer alcove. Dana and Marcus. Close, quiet. She's going to say something eventually. Marcus said. Let her, Dana said. It's her word against mine. And I've been here 5 years longer. What if she has proof? Pause. She doesn't. I checked. I did not move. I did not breathe. I sat completely still while the pieces locked into place. Marcus knew. He had known from the beginning. The avoided eye contact. Rachel's strange message. The careful silence from everyone around me. This wasn't just Dana acting alone. I pulled out my phone and opened the Notes app. I typed 3 words. She checked. Tuesday. Then I closed the app, packed my bag, and walked out through a different exit. Not because I was afraid, because I was done being unprepared. No anger, no confrontations, no emails. I went home and made a list. Every incident, every date, every name. I pulled the version history from the shared drive and took screenshots. Timestamp visible, login ID visible. Every edit documented in order. I saved copies in 3 places. Local drive, personal cloud, external hard drive in my apartment drawer. Then I bought a small digital recorder. Clip style, the kind that looks like a pen. I tested it twice, once in my kitchen, once on the subway. Clear audio up to 15 feet. Monday morning, I clipped it to my jacket lining. I said nothing different. I acted nothing different. I asked Dana a question about a client file and watched her answer me like nothing had happened. Like the meeting never occurred. She was comfortable, settled. That comfort was her first mistake. Over the next 9 days, I collected 6 separate conversations. Marcus confirming the plan in passing. Dana telling Rachel to stay out of it. Dana telling a junior analyst that the segmentation model was something she had been working on for months. Each one saved. Each one labeled with date and time. I did not celebrate. I did not tell anyone. I waited. The moment would come. In this office, in this culture, with a director who loved public performance, the moment would absolutely come. Dana would need to do it again. She would need to win in front of people. That was the only way this type of person knew how to exist. I made sure I was ready when she did. The quarterly review meeting was company-wide. Every department head present. Director Hall at the front. 63 people in that room. I counted because I needed to know exactly where I was standing. Dana presented first. Confident, polished, every slide timed perfectly. Director Hall praised the campaign results, called them exceptional. Dana accepted it without hesitation. Then she turned to me. I do want to address something, she said. Her voice was measured, practiced. There's been some confusion from one team member about the origins of this campaign. Every head turned toward me. I want to be clear in front of everyone that this work was developed independently by me over several weeks. I understand that can be hard to accept when a project succeeds. She paused for effect, but I won't have the integrity of my work questioned. Director Hall looked at me, waiting. The room waited. 63 people waiting for me to either defend myself with nothing or go quiet and accept it as fact. Dana's expression was controlled, patient. She had done this before. She knew how this moment worked. Say it publicly, say it calmly, and let the silence do the rest. She was 3 seconds from winning. I reached into my jacket pocket, slowly, and said nothing. I set my phone on the table. Flat, screen up. Everyone could see it. Dana glanced at it. Her jaw shifted just slightly. The first crack. I opened the audio app. Silence in the room. And then her voice came out of that speaker. It's her word against mine. And I've been here 5 years longer. Nobody moved. I let it finish. Then I swiped to the next file. The segmentation model is something I've been working on for months. Then the next. Stay out of it, Rachel. Dana's face went from composed to pale in the space of 3 seconds. Marcus stared at the table. Rachel closed her eyes. I placed the phone face down. Calm, deliberate. Then I opened my laptop and turned the screen toward Director Hall. The version history. Timestamps. My login across 43 edits. Her login on a single file duplication. The finished product, untouched, renamed. Director Hall looked at Dana. Dana opened her mouth. Nothing came out. The room was so quiet I could hear the ventilation system above us. I did not smile. I did not speak. I sat back in my chair and waited for someone else to say the first word, because the recording already said everything that needed saying. Dana was placed on formal review the following week. Marcus received a written warning. The campaign credit was officially reassigned, documented, corrected, filed with HR. Rachel apologized to me in the parking garage on a Wednesday evening. I accepted it without discussion. Director Hall called me into his office 3 days after the meeting. He asked me one question. How long did you know? I told him the exact date. He nodded, said nothing else. I was offered a position on the senior strategy team 1 month later. I did not jump at it. I took 4 days to consider the offer, read the contract carefully, and negotiated 2 clauses before signing. The person who walks into a room prepared does not need to perform gratitude. Dana left the company before the formal review concluded. I never spoke about it publicly inside the office. Not to allies. Not to people who suddenly became friendly after the meeting. Silence after a win is its own kind of power. The recorder still sits in my desk drawer. I have never needed to use it again, but I keep it there anyway. Not out of paranoia, out of principle. The world does not reward the most talented person in the room. It rewards the most prepared one. Every time someone tells me to just trust people, I think about 43 timestamps on a version history file that no one thought to check. Trust is earned in actions. Proof is collected in silence. So tell me honestly, if you had been standing in that room, outnumbered, discredited, and humiliated in front of 63 people, would you have had the patience to wait this long?